What's up, Album Book Club? Welcome back to another interview. Today we're talking to Leo, the bass player from Coast Arcade, an indie rock band from New Zealand that just dropped their first album. Let's get started. First question, how did you guys come up with the band name?
Coast Arcade. Right, so this is lore that predates my place in the band. So before I joined, it was just Bella and Tom. So they started off the band, and before that band formed, Bella and I were in another band in high school. And we had a name. It was some word in I think Gaelic or something. And no one could ever pronounce it or even spell it. So we were planning on changing our name to Blue Arcade or something with the name Arcade in it. Then I moved schools at the time, so that band ended. Bella went on to form another band with Tom, and they were just brainstorming ideas. She still wanted to put Arcade in it, and then because they lived near the beach and stuff, that's where the Coast came from. So Coast Arcade was born.
All right. So who are some of the band's biggest inspirations musically?
We love a lot of 90s grunge and 2000s rock. I think we all have our own inspirations, individually, that we kind of bring to the table when writing. I know that Bella's real into Brit pop, Brit rock, and Tom's real into 90s grunge. I'm real into post-hardcore and heavier stuff. And then Arlo's a big fan of Midwest emo and stuff like that. So it all kind of comes together. I think our biggest inspirations at the moment would probably be Deftones and Smashing Pumpkins, those sort of bands.
So you guys just dropped your debut album. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
How was it making the first album and had the process of it?
Incredibly rewarding, but it was a lot of hard work. We've been working on it for the past 2 years, and it didn't start off as us coming together and being let's make an album. We had dropped a couple of singles beforehand, and we weren't really sure what the plan was with that. And then when City Limits got quite a bit of attention on YouTube, we just kind of thought, should we do this? Let's just go full speed ahead with it. And we just really got on the grind with writing and just putting together the album and recording. And it took a lot of time, ate away at the bank quite a bit, but it was so rewarding. It's really surreal having an album that we can physically hold and say, yo, that's out there.
So did you have a favorite part of the songwriting process while making that album you'd like to talk about, or?
Yeah, absolutely. So Bella and I have always been kind of the main songwriters of the band. We've been writing together for so many years. It's so fun bouncing ideas off of each other. I think when you write alone and you get used to writing alone, you kind of tend to get stuck in a little box. You have your own little way of doing things, and I think writing with other people is awesome because it takes you out of that box. It makes you think of things that you wouldn't have thought of otherwise, and writing with Bella has always been like that. And I think working with the rest of the band for this album was a real learning curve for us, because we've started writing a lot more as a band in the band room, because usually how we've done it in the past is I would write half a song or most of a song instrumentally on my own, and then I'd send it off to Bella, and then she'd come up with lyrics or a vocal melody, or vice versa. And that's how we'd usually do things. It'll be working on it individually and then sending it to the other person. But for quite a bit of this new album, a lot of those songs were written in the band room with us just jamming it out and letting it progress naturally, which was a learning curve for us because it was a new approach to songwriting. But we absolutely love it. Like it's such a cool thing to kind of see a song just sort of bloom out from jamming it, and it's definitely something we want to do more.
Speaking of the just working out songs together, how does all of you having the different musical backgrounds and inspirations, how does that affect working together?
Definitely works out for the better. And it's surprising because, you wouldn't expect it having someone who's like real into metal and hardcore in the band and someone who's more into like indie rock. You'd think that would result in a lot of creative clashes, but that's never been the case. We never have arguments over like how a song should go. We have different ideas and like approaches, and we sometimes disagree on something, but we've never clashed heads on it. We've gotten quite good at compromising. A good example is with Bella and I's songwriting. I'd write like a really heavy riff or like really heavy instrumentals, like for Cycles, for example. So instrumentally, that was one that I pretty much had completed, and super heavy, lots of lots of post-hardcore DNA in there. And I sent it off to Bella, and she wrote these really catchy vocal melodies along to it, which if you just isolated those alone, you wouldn't expect like heavy stuff behind it. Like they're pop melodies, and I think together like it's quite cool because I wouldn't have thought of that on my own. Like I wouldn't have thought of those melodies. We sometimes hear Arlo adding some jazz stuff to like his solos, which is super cool because none of us know how to play jazz. So it's so sick seeing his specialty shine.
It's funny. I feel like every band we talk to that has just a mishmash group of backgrounds is always like, oh yeah, it's the best thing ever when we write. And then everyone that's like, yeah, we're all country guys, we're all rock guys, they're like, oh, it's awful when we write together because they're all like just weird subsects in one genre instead of a bunch of different ones.
Yeah, no, totally. Because I feel like when you get stuck in like a box, I think it's very hard to get out of a box of songwriting. Like, writer's block. It's a universal experience with musicians, and Bella and I get it all the time. But us being into like really different styles of music really helps with that, because I'll be having a writer's block and I'll have a riff or a melody idea or vocal part that I think it has potential, but I don't know what to do with it because my brain just can't come up with any ideas. And I'll send it off to Bella, and then she works her magic on it, and she turns it into something that I wouldn't have imagined. And the same goes the other way around. And I feel like if we were kind of stuck in the same box together, it would be harder to kind of get out of those blocks.
Yeah, actually was reading earlier that your guys' album charted, so congratulations on that. What's kind of the next step, do you guys feel? Are you going to try and hit that number one with this one, or go for a tour or another album, or?
So we've got a couple of shows. We've been on the road lately. It's been an interesting tour because it's been sort of in like 3 legs. So in August we did the South Island of New Zealand, and then September we did Australia, which was our first international tour, and we absolutely loved it. And we've just done our headliner Auckland show in our hometown over the weekend, which was one of our favourite shows we've ever done. And then coming up, we've got Wellington this Friday, and we've got Whangarei, Hamilton, and then some festivals in Nelson after to finish up the tour. And after that, over the summer, playing R&V, Rhythm and Vines, which is the big summer festival down in Gisborne, which Turnstile are playing at as well. So we're very excited. We're very excited to be on the same lineup as them. And apart from that, we're really excited to just get back into writing.
The couple singles leading up to the album, what inspired going with that style of art for each album art?
So we got in contact with our friend Olive, Cheese and FM. That's their artist name, and we got in touch with them about doing some art for City Limits, and we didn't have any like meaning in mind behind the character. Like it wasn't supposed to represent anyone in the band or any particular person. It was just, you know, some dude sticking their head out of a building, you know, in the cover art. But then we got a lot of people being like, "Oh, is that Tom? Like that kind of looks like Tom." And we're just like, "Yeah." I mean, we started to see it. We're like, "Yeah, that kind of does look like Tom, actually." So it was a bit of a happy accident. Like after that, you know, with, you know, Afterthought, that was me, and then Acetone, that's Bella, and then Kids, that's Arlo. Like with all the other singles after that, we just decided, okay, well, I guess they're gonna represent us now. So then we leaned into that, but it was unintentional. You know, it wasn't supposed to be Tom, but then it became Tom.
So we kind of wind down here. We always ask this question. We love getting answers for it. So do you have any fun live stories or mishaps you'd like to talk or share with us?
Ooh, there's so many. Where do I begin? Right. I've got a good one. So over the weekend at our Auckland show, it was such a fun show, but my bass had a bit of a malfunction. So I brought two basses. Just because like I was like, okay, if anything happens to one of them, I've got another. Right after the first song, the thickest string on my bass breaks, like it snaps. Right, I just hear like in my ears, I just hear, boom, and I'm like, oh no! And I just feel it go all floppy and stuff. So I'm like, all right, don't panic, just grab the other bass. And I had a wireless pack attached to the original bass, so my plan was, I was gonna take the strap off and then put it on the other one. The strap lock on that first bass jammed, so I couldn't take it out. So I had to take the wireless pack off, and there was no duct tape around, so I couldn't I couldn't fasten it onto the strap or anything. So I had to like put it in my pocket, and Bella helped me with that to like, you know, rewire everything. I had to put it in my pocket and just pray that like it wouldn't fall out. And then when we played Greener, there was one point in the song where I did a bit of a, you know, did some acrobatics on the stage and did a bit of a jump from the drum riser onto the stage, and lo and behold, it unplugs. So there's no bass for the rest of the song. But you know, what can you do in that moment? You know, you just gotta keep thrashing around, act like the bass is there. But that was a fun show. Like, I feel like breaking a bass string is a bit of a rite of passage. So I was kind of proud of it. I'm like, yeah, man, that's me right there, breaking bass strings. We had another story from the show we did a couple of years ago. It was during soundcheck, actually, not the actual gig, but during soundcheck, we had one of those, you know, those sound guys who are like real stuck in their ways, and like if you tell them that you use like digital stuff, they're like, whoa, nah, you know.
Yep.
We had some like issues with the vocal mix or something, and then he tells Bella, "You're not projecting enough," and then he goes up to the mic and just screams into it full blast. I think he starts singing "Living on a Prayer" or something, just like belts it out, and we had in-ear monitors on, and it just like destroys our eardrums, like absolutely destroys them. That's a close second gig story, I reckon.
So at the end of these interviews, we always ask for an album suggestion from you for us to review on our weekly podcast.
Ooh, the Boondocks. The Boondocks, they're a good bunch of our mate from Auckland as well. And they're a fuzzy two-piece band. And they just dropped an album called Don't Let Them See You Cry. Give that one a listen. Good. Very good record.
All right. And now we get to our favorite part of the show. This is the Plug Yo Shit segment. This is where you get to shout out everything you got going on, coming out, and coming up.
So if you're tuning in from New Zealand, we've got our next couple of shows coming up in Wellington, 30th of October. And then we've got our show in Whangarei on the 8th of November, and Hamilton November 14th, and then some festivals in Nelson to keep up with. And we've got some exciting stuff planned for the summer. We're going to be back on the writing grind, so, keep an ear out and keep streaming the album.
I think that's all we got for you. Thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.